Hello YouTube, Beanie from the bedroom here, your guitar junkie with one of my most inexpensive electric guitars. Yes, I just had to think about that for a minute. It wasn't the inexpensive one, but it was one of the most inexpensive ones. This was my $119 Harley Benton SGT 400. SGT standing for gold top. Satin gold top, I do believe. The other one that was cheaper than this is my SG Harley Benton. I think that was $115. This was $119. And I'm running it with my end of the search for chasing the perfect tone pedal board. I'll put the pedal board up as a picture for the beginning of the video. But I finally got it wired correctly, just so that it sounds good. Right now I've got my overdrive pedal on, stacked with my dirty channel, along with my vintage phaser and my chorus and my delay. This is with the Ventura. It's still quiet without it, without it, without it, without it. So that's the overdrive, that's the vintage phaser, and that's the chorus. And so yeah, I have them very low. I don't like an effect that's over the top, in your face effect. So I turn it down. I turn all the settings down pretty low, just so it's just enough there. This is just the chorus. This is just the phaser. This is the two together. So this is just the one. This is the chorus. This is the two stacked. Yeah, so volume on. Mute it for a minute. See how quiet it is? That's the way you want your pedal board. So, you know, I've gone by at one time getting what someone else has. If there's an artist that uses this, that, and the other thing, I had to get this, that, and the other thing. And then I wound up not liking this, that, and the other thing. And I still liked what it can do, but I didn't like the way it acted. Or it just wasn't compatible with my other. I finally found all the pedals on my pedal board that are completely compatible with one another. And what I mean by that is that when they're on or they're off, you don't have that annoying humming, buzzing sound. Because right now I've got the overdrive, the phaser, and the chorus, and the delay on. And it's as quiet as you're going to get. Now what I had to do was I had to get static free patch cables, and I had to wire each pedal separately with its own AC adapter, and I found out that the POLYTUNE has a buffer, so I run that into the POLYTUNE first, because I could also use that as a standby, and that buffers into the wah-wah pedal, where I've already tweaked the wah-wah pedal so it's more low end and more growly, snarly kind of talking kind of thing. Do it without the effects. So that, because of the buffer, pushes a little bit more signal into the wah-wah, which makes the wah-wah a little bit louder. Without it, it's a little bit lower. And then from the wah-wah into my my clone, Andy Timmons pedal, and the original one that I had from JHS or something like that, it was copied after that. That was too noisy, and it didn't have enough punch to it. This clone from Amazon for like 59 bucks is perfect, and it's got more punch than I need. I've got 3 clippings on it where I could make it really thick and warm and dirty, or brighten it up. And it's got an overdrive. Sorry, it's got a boost on top of it, which you could run separate. So, I'll give you an idea. Here's the overdrive. Here's with the boost. Here's just the boost. It's without the boost. See what I mean? So, and then I've got that into the phaser, I've got that into the chorus, and I've got that into the Venture Vibe, and then coming along the top into my TC Electronics triple play. But the most expensive pedal on the whole board is probably the TC Electronics Flashback triple delay. I keep on saying triple play. It's triple delay. Because I think back in the day when I bought that, it was like 200 bucks. I think they're like 250 now. So they're in the 200, 250 price tag. And I saw a couple that were like 190 bucks used on Guitar Center. And but they were gone as soon as I saw it, and I was like, I put it off as usual. Oh, you know, I'll call them tomorrow. It's after 3, 4 o'clock. They're not going to make it on the UPS truck. I like to call right when they open up, within a half an hour of their opening time, and then say, look, can you run that to the back and make sure it gets on the truck today? If you call them after the truck was there and gone, 3, 4 o'clock, oh yeah, sure, they run it in the back, and then by the time the guy comes in the next day, it's not a rush. He doesn't know, oh, what's this sitting here? Oh, I'll get to it when I get to it. That's my thinking on it. So I've missed out on getting it used for like 100. I've seen it for anywhere from 175 bucks to like 190 bucks used, but they go for like 250 brand new. That's the most expensive one. The phaser pedal was I think it was a total of 29 bucks, and the chorus pedal was like 29 bucks, I think, and the Venture Vibe by Digitech, that was $99. And you can't get them. I guess they stopped making them, and unless you could find one used. I was lucky to find that one new. And you know, so you don't need a whole hell of a lot to sound good and get what you want. I mean, what I have here is the basic necessity to sound like anybody in the world you want to sound like. You want to sound like Eddie Van Halen, you've got the tools on the floor for that. If you want it to sound like Randy Rhoads, you have that. Anything from the 70s to the 80s, you know, you've got it on the board, and it's not a whole lot of money. I've had a phaser pedal that was like $100 to $150. Didn't like it. I had a flanger pedal that I thought was just over the top. I thought the phaser was much better than the flanging. The flanging was too much in depth. It had too highs, too much lows. And I get what I need from here. And the whole thing is that I'm not putting a pedal on here. That's another thing that I've done. I put like a MXR phase pedal on here, and it sounded good, but it made so much noise. It wasn't compatible with the other pedals. And I sent many pedals back to Amazon because either I don't like the way they sound, or they sound great, but as soon as I plug them into the board, you won't hear it as quiet as it is right now. You'll hear a buzzing and a humming, and I'm like, oh. And I had the phase pedal, the vintage phase pedal on this board before, but I had it with a different pedal. I'll show you what I had. I had it with this great overdrive, Nuex pedal, gold and silver, golden horses. And that pedal sounds amazing, but it's not compatible with other pedals. And even when you just play it by itself, it's got a little bit of the low frequency hum. You know, the only humming you're hearing now is coming from the amp, and that's the clean channel. I just turned off the overdrive channel. That's the clean channel, and I'm running it through the DSL 100, and I've got the gain, I think, at 12 o'clock. Yeah, the gain doesn't go past 12 o'clock on that because I stack it with the overdrive pedal. So, you know, my thing is that you don't need a lot of money to get something that you want. What you do need, though, is a good amp. That's really what you could have an inexpensive guitar. You could have inexpensive pedals. I've seen many videos with you know, cheap pedals or the you know, the Amazon pedals and, you know, stuff like that. They all work fine if you stay within the same family. Sometimes I'll like one pedal that they make out of the bunch, but I don't like the others. So that's why I want different pedals from different brands, but I want them to get along with one another. I had a guy come over and spend 45 minutes playing a Fender, one of my Fender amp, my Fender Twin, Evil Twin, in the garage. And I thought it sounded great. I've never heard that much gain coming out of a Fender Twin, the Evil Twin, 212, 100-watt Fender amp, and sound that good playing without having a pedal stacked with it. And he was playing it, and I thought, oh, okay, he's playing it this long, he's going to take it. And he's like, oh, so I don't know, maybe I'd like to come back with a pedal. Well, you should have brought a pedal. I could have just came in the house and got a pedal, because whatever pedal he wants, I have a pedal that'll simulate what he's thinking about, you know, like a Tube Scream or whatnot. And then he asked me, well, what's your favorite amp? Well, I have a lot of favorite amps, but my main go-to was, you know, I started with the Marshall, and I circled around and came back to the Marshall. I'm always a Marshall man, and I've had them all, and I just think it just sounds better on the Marshall. And everyone that I admire, you know, before they became rich and famous, they always used a Marshall. And it wasn't until like guys like Eddie Van Halen and Joe Satriani that PV and other brands came to them and said, oh, well, we'll make you an amp and put your name on it. They started with a Marshall, and because of an endorsement or getting a free amp, maybe they went down that road. But you know, my favorite, Gary Moore, he's always, you know, he's using one of these puppies. So you see it on stage all the time, and that's all he needs with a couple of pedals. And his pedal boards, they were inexpensive pedals. They weren't, you know, handcrafted, hand-built, boutique, you know, $200-300 pedals, because you don't need that. You know, that's my whole point. You don't need that. What you need, you know, is a basic set of tools in your toolbox, but the most of it comes out of your hands. What's in your head and comes out of your hands. So yeah, that's it, YouTube. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's a little bit of advice from the Bean Man that's been chasing the tone since my first guitar, I should say. Have a good day and a better tomorrow.